It's Wednesday afternoon, and it is officially 1:50 or 12:50, which is the time that I said I was going to be here. Um, Pretty good. It's not often. I think it was the past couple times that I've managed to do so. Sorry, my cat just walked in to say hi. Um, so it's also March 27th. I almost said 24, 2024. I'm thinking about. I've talked quite a bit past couple weeks on Hawaiian shamanism, the art of making a wish, the art of well wishing. Um, Read a few books on it. I've actually looked through Hawaiian shamanism for quite a few years. In the, I guess, early part of 2000, I'm not sure how to define it, the 2000s, 2005, 2006, and a few years after that. I actually explored quite a bit um, of Ho'oponopono, which is uh, not, I guess it could fall under the category of shamanism. It's the art of forgiveness, of centering in the present moment where the past simply doesn't exist uh, and the future isn't here yet. So everything is already instantly forgiven. And what you're doing is you're working with the energy of that moment through forgiveness. You're using four phrases: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, not in any particular order. And you just work with those phases. You think of, if you're offering it as a prayer for someone, you are holding yourself responsible for the condition they find themselves in which uh, they're in need of a prayer. Not because it's your fault, but because by being aware of it, you're a direct participant in it, which means that you can also offer a healing. And you do that by using the four phrases, which Hawaiian shamanism, they liken it to returning to 0 point. Um, as with all stuff like this, whenever you talk about any type of mystery, any type of um, magic, any type of shamanism, um, metaphysics, I don't know if it's true. I don't even care if it's true, to be honest. Um, I work with the tools that I have within a moment to see the results that they produce, and I go from there. Working with Ho'oponopono has been a powerful tool of forgiveness and, again, bringing me back to center point time and time again. So it's not a matter of belief. It's not a matter of um, far out thinking, weird thinking. I don't care if it's weird. Makes no difference to me whatsoever. And it led me into exploring more and more of the Hawaiian shamanism. And one of the things they talk about quite a bit is the art of wishing. They also talk about the dark side of wishing. And the dark side is when you are not exploring every avenue that a well, a wish that you believe as well could be expressed. So if you wish for a long life, the dark side of that might be perhaps a long life of illness because you haven't fully explored. So you could live for 30 additional years um, with a failing body. I'm not saying something like that always happens, but you're meant to explore. And that's why they say to wish less for specifics and more for that sense that you feel you need. So, instead of wishing for a specific job, you wish for security, you wish for prosperity. You sort of allow the universe to handle the details, which makes sense to me. Um, I'm thinking in terms of that, working on YouTube, trying to build a channel. Um, and the dark side of that, as there is, um, as there is to the internet. And I think we all um, discovered that fairly quickly through, specifically as social media took off, and we discovered that there's an energy there that doesn't always serve our best interests, that sometimes even the best of people come on and they find themselves acting in negative ways that they wouldn't do in person, or maybe they'd be more hesitant to do so in person. And I can't imagine that they sign off of the internet, if anyone ever signs off anymore, and feel any sense of purpose or positive energy after spending time here and engaging that type of activity, that type of behavior. As a matter of fact, it's probably quite draining, and then they show up again thinking that they can recapture some type of energy that they found, but it's a spiral. You just keep going down that rabbit hole over and over again, and it never produces anything except more of the same. There was an old saying in AA, I think, you never get enough. Never get enough of what you don't want. I can look that up. There is a lot of good slogans from AA. Let's see what comes up. I don't think anything along those lines are going to come up, but it's sort of that you never get enough of what you don't want. It just keeps showing up because we're in that same mindset. Basically, what the Buddha said, that our life is a result of what we think repeatedly. Doesn't mean the way it's taken in some New Age philosophies where, people say your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create the perception of your reality. So if you are constantly having thoughts of regret, resentment, whatever along those lines, that's how you perceive life. That's how you perceive the world. It's not the world itself that is being changed by your thoughts. Again, it's your perception. Does that mean that you need to work on the quality of your thoughts? That's an interesting question, and I don't know. At one time, I thought yes, and then you sort of see the actual transparency of thoughts, that they aren't a lasting thing. They're fluctuating energy pattern within the mind. They don't have a reality in and of themselves, but again, they create the perception that we live in, not the actual world. So when you sort of realize that, you see to always try to change your thoughts can be a frustrating road to head down with maybe minimal results anyway. I think perhaps a better way is a mindfulness, and not a mindfulness to every detail. You're not paying attention to every single thought that you're having. and trying to course correct it, but you're mindful that there are thoughts, that there are patterns um, going through your mind. And through that mindfulness, which I think a better way of saying it would be through that awareness. Awareness sort of signifies less attention to detail and more open and inclusive. So you're not nitpicking every thought, you're just being aware. And through that light of awareness, through that lens of awareness, um, thoughts begin to change on their own. Of course, you can always enter a positive thought and see how that works. The thing is, we try things. For me, again, it was just through decades of meditation, and you start seeing the illusory nature of thoughts, and you just let them go. And boy, did that ease a certain sense of underlying depression that I've had for much of my life. It didn't cure me of depression. It didn't get rid of depression. It made things lighter. Because there's always that sense of being there's always that sense of being the witness. There's always the sense of being the observer of the thoughts and not the thoughts themselves. Luke McBride says, could I have a shout out, please? Yes. By shout out, you just want me to say your name, Luke McBride? I have little internet knowledges. So I don't have any of the fancy stuff to share channels. I wish I did, and I wish I had that technical mind frame to be able to do it, because I get some great people showing up, and I love to be able to help them get connected. So here's a shout out to Luke McBride. I appreciate you being here, stopping by, and just saying hi. It's a nice thing to do, And sometimes, particularly on the internet, niceness is a hard commodity to find. Not always. I've been pretty fortunate overall. But, again, I'm talking about the Hawaiian art of wishing, the Hawaiian shamanism process of fulfilling our needs and wishes and desires. And they talk about that dark side. And I've had some experiences here with the dark side. You wish for more subscribers. You wish for more viewers. And with that wish comes the dark side. Comes people wishing to be mean for the sake of being mean, be cruel for the sake of being cruel, thinking that they are one-upping you or whatever. You can view that in lots of different ways, though. If you are trying to do some good, and I don't know as I am trying, the more you shine the light, the greater the shadow. The more light you are, the greater the shadow. The more it just presents itself. Those people are actually just doing what they know how to do. Don't take it personally. You also, I don't want to condemn anyone. I don't want to point them out and say, you're wrong, you're mean, you're this, you're that, because that's just returning their energy with energy of my own, which could be better served by not trying to change them, concentrating on what I'm doing, keeping my energy here, keeping my energy now, and not dispersing it. So you see those people who show up, and they are doing what they're supposed to do. It's part of the process. If you take it personally, which I have from time to time, it's been a while though. When you've been around for a bit, then it's hard to take too many things personally. I grew up with a speech impediment. So I have been picked on in an attempt. I never did well with bullies. have always been willing to stand up for myself. What's worse than a physical bully, because again, you can always stand up for yourself, are the ones that verbally try to tear you down. That's the one that really hurts. People who say that words don't affect you, it's a form of energy, and it's a very potent form of energy, and they certainly can affect you until you learn, again, not to take it personally, and that people act from where they are within their own minds. With that being the case, you start to have a feeling of empathy for them. And they're caught up in their own mental chatter, literally slaves to their way of thinking. Yoga philosophy, yoga psychology will tell you about the 5 kleshas, the 5 mental blocks that keep us from seeing who we really are, keep us from fully experiencing the love, the compassion, and the empathy that our heart is made for. So how do you blame someone for doing what they do when they simply don't know another way of doing anything? They fall into what's called the samskaras, those energetic patterns of the mind that have been repeated since they were born, since they were in their mother's womb, since, according to yogic philosophy, Buddhist philosophy as well, previous lives. Just carries over. So, there's been that endless falling into that ignorance. And I don't mean ignorance as in not being intelligent. I mean ignorance as simply not knowing that they are drawn in to that. So, what do we do about it? Absolutely nothing. There's nothing we really can do about it. People do what people do. What we can do is make sure that we don't fall into those energetic patterns ourselves. We work on ourselves. I sort of don't like that expression of working on ourselves because it means that we're basically flawed. But when I say working on ourselves, what I mean is realizing ourselves with a capital S, realizing who we are, and then working from there, living from there. That's what I loved about Douglas Harding and the Headless Way, is we point towards the own emptiness of our reality, and that within that emptiness, everything appears, the world appears from that emptiness, fluid. Anonymous says, hi. Hello, my friend. How are you? And what topic are we on? I'm sort of all over the place, my friend. Sort of talking about the dark side of an expanding audience on YouTube and the people who show up and how and what they do. Our friend Squirrel Sniper's here. Greeting, beautiful souls. Hello, my friend. How are you? So I'm less inclined to use that term working on myself, working on ourselves, as I'm more curious in exploring myself, exploring who I am, and allowing that to be expressed. When you get there, when you see that the inherent emptiness of who and what we are, and that emptiness serves as capacity for everything to appear, that our personality, our thoughts, our beliefs, and our opinions, all of that is an appearance with an emptiness. Emptiness doesn't mean non-existence. It means the allowance for things to exist. But that which we see, that which appears, is also illusory in the sense that it doesn't have an independent existence of its own. Destiny Forever Walks, PhD, is here. My good friend. She says, hello, Eric. How are you? Blessings to you on this beautiful Wednesday. Thank you, and blessings to you as well, my friend. I was going to um, read one of my favorite little poems, Mother Teresa's Prayer. Anonymous says, you have a lot of books, mate. I do. That is but a fraction. Got another bookshelf over here. And several rooms, and a downstairs room and a basement room, all packed with books. This is the home I grew up in, having inherited it from my father when he passed away. I was his caregiver. And all of us were big readers, my entire family. So we have decades and decades of books. And I keep buying them. Buying books are my one luxury, actually. How I eat and how I live is, I don't want to say frugal, because I'm not cheap, but my needs are few. And my desires are few as well. But I'll tell you what, I love a good book. Let's see, Destiny's saying, grand day, Squirrel Sniper. Hello, Eric, good day to you and everyone here. Thank you, Brian. Squirrel Sniper saying hi to Destiny, and everyone is saying hi to Brian. Anonymous says, oh, wow, I did not expect that. That's beautiful. I wish I had that many books. Yeah, you know what? It's like I can go to any bookshelf in my house, and it's like I am revisiting the past me when I read this book, where my mind was, where my life was when I read this book, who gave it to me, or why did I decide to buy it. It's a whole story in of itself. Not just opening the book and reading it, but just holding the book in my hand and getting that feeling. Brian says, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. Glad to hear that, Brian. Brian said, just woke up with a stiff neck again. Got to remember to start stretching before exercising. You know, our friend Duncan Walsh would suggest doing a hot shower before you work out as a passive warm-up. Doesn't have to be long, 5 minutes in a hot shower, and then stretch and warm up, and then start exercising. And one thing I know is Duncan Walsh, when it comes to fitness, motivation, training for any sport, is almost always 100% right. Destiny says, invest in your future, Anonymous. There's nothing like good books, definitely. Destiny is speaking to the choir, that's for sure. You have at your fingertips the world's greatest wisdom. You can explore the Tao Te Ching, the Bhagavad Gita, you can explore the Bible, these great, great books of wisdom, as well as yogic philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, New Thought, Transcendentalist. I first learned how to meditate through a book. Later, I had a teacher, but it set me on my path from reading a book. Almost every direction I've taken in life has been because the right book stumbled in my hands at the right time, changing everything. So, yeah, I was talking about, this is a subject that would probably interest Squirrel Sniper, the dark side of wishing. Amish Purpose, our good friend, how are you? Always appreciate you stopping by. That this is particularly pertaining to Hawaiian shamanism. We don't often see the direction where our wish might be taking us. As an example I've been using is, you wish for a long life without really addressing what a long life might pertain, and you find that you live the last 30 years of your life in pain, frail health, or whatever, um, being ill. You're living longer doesn't necessarily mean you're living better. So Hawaiian shamanism, they suggest you work for living well in the present, however long that present lasts. And I started thinking about that more and more because, again, I was thinking about my own particular wish of growing my YouTube channel to make a viable, let's just say, to pay my bills, and to buy the occasional book. And I don't mind buying used books at all. Brian says, did you ever do cold therapy, Eric? Meaning cold showers? For a long time, for several years as well, right before COVID, well, before COVID, and then it ended with COVID. The place I went to closed down. They had a cold plunge that I would do pretty much every day. More important than me is heat therapy, sitting in the sauna, which has a greater positive effect on the body. Lowers the heart rate, lowers the blood pressure. It releases testosterone and growth hormones to help your recovery. I really miss my sauna. It went out of business. I could join a gym, but I don't want to. I don't want to go to a gym. So thinking in terms of, working with intent. Another way of saying making a wish. Making a wish for some people sounds sort of inconsequential. Working with intent, that's something we can get behind. But it's the same thing. It's the same energy that we're dealing with. Same energetic pattern. Aligning with the energy of that which we want instead of aligning with the energy of that which we don't want. And being very clear in what we want. Anonymous says, what do you feel about the world? The world's a beautiful place. The world is what we make it. The world is what we think and perceive it to be. And we could do a better job, all of us collectively. We could relearn how to treasure it again. We could teach ourselves to become re-enchanted with the magic of the world. We could fall in love with a bird, with a flower, with a tree. Just be astonished to the fact that, man, we've been gifted. None of us made this world. None of us did anything to achieve it. We didn't work for this. We simply found ourselves here. We woke up here, now. It's been given to us. It's our home. We were created from it, as well as from the heavens themselves. All of it, stemming from the Big Bang. The Big Bang, as I've likened before, the Big Bang is just a story. A scientifically told story, but it's no different than the story they tell in the Vedas of the universe came into existence on the breath of God. On the exhalation, the universe comes out of existence on the inhalation. And it just repeats. God breathing the universe into existence, out of existence. As well as any other great stories of cosmology told by traditions all around the world. The Big Bang is, backed by scientific studies, but it's still just a story. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just doesn't happen the way we think it does. So everything stemmed, that emptiness, to this, the magic of this. Squirrel Sniper says, we already have been gifted the beauty of this realm. Some just choose not to see it from the overseer's perspective. I knew, Squirrel Sniper, would have a perfect answer. As well, I think Destiny and Brian um, be really interesting to hear their reply as well. I know it's going to be insightful and beautiful. Destiny says, sitting in the sun is great heat therapy. Running out into the cold water is another great therapy for others. We got to choose which is best for our body, hot or cold. Um, yeah, I did the cold and the hot for several years. The cold because of some aches and pains of a um, long years of ultra running and other stuff. Um, the cold became less. It seemed to be less effective, and I became more sensitive to it. But the heat, I can really appreciate the heat therapy. Anonymous says, "I love the world. It's beautiful, but as now there are too many things, including the internet, causing to make the world feel hopeless." Yeah, I was talking about the dark side of the internet. Um, that's what started the conversation. As I've had some recent experiences with um, some people showing up. But again, I don't take it personally. But it does make me think um, that those are the things you need to consider when you wish for more subscribers, when you wish for more people visiting and coming into the conversation. Are you prepared for all of it? Because everyone has, a valid reason why they think they should be here. Um, so you see what it is. This Anonymous finishes with, I think the main reason was because of the pandemic. Yeah, you know what? I think maybe it started before the pandemic, but the pandemic certainly heightened it. There's that feeling of anxiety. And then when it was receding, everyone leaped back into the busyness, the activity, but it still felt different, almost rushed, almost like we need to make up time instead of taking the silence that we were given. If everything has a shadow, if everything has a dark side, then even the shadow, even the darkness has a positive quality to it. So what could we have taken from the pandemic to make our world a little more beautiful? For a brief period of time, we pulled together. We were helping each other. I remember how guarded I was because, my dad, when the pandemic first hit, he was 92 and he had some health issues. I made a vow that my father was not going to die alone in the hospital, cut off and isolated from those that he loved. And I would do what I could to keep him safe and healthy, which I did, fortunately. But not everyone respected that. And it was a little difficult. It is what it is. Hey, Lewis, how are you? Lewis says if they shut the internet off, it would be a better place, but a lot of people would lose their minds. Hello, Eric and chat. Sometimes I think we teach manners to kids, how to behave in school, how to behave around other people, how to behave in the family, in the neighborhood. We never taught manners on how to behave on the internet. I think it shows. It is what it is. Says, I love 2020. The world was silent. Stores were empty, and the freeways were amazing to drive on. And you know what? Animals made a comeback. Animals thrived in that. And the thing is, it was an important lesson. It might not have been a lesson that I would have chosen for, or the means of that lesson to be learned, but we got what we got. And it just seems that we should have carried a lot of that over, and we could have made such a huge change, such a huge difference. We could have taken the empathy that was gained. We could have taken the silence that we experienced and brought it with us. We literally could have created a brand new world. Um, but we didn't, because we wanted to get back to the busyness of life. We wanted everything to return exactly the way it was before. The way it was before got us into a lot of trouble. I'm not saying that everything was bad leading up to that, but we were given that opportunity through the darkness of those years, and we could have carried it forward, I think. Nanip says yes, but I feel, as for kids and others, I feel like it's a chunk of our childhood life taken out of our lives. I can agree with that. It's like 3 years wasted of our lives in childhood. Yeah. I was fortunate, you know, there was no internet growing up, and the video games we had sucked. No one had wanted to spend 2 hours in front of the TV playing Pong. You know what? Things changed, though, when Nintendo came out with John Madden Football. Lewis says every child has their own parents. It's up to the parents to show the BS that were happening and having them prepare for what's coming. I agree. Unfortunately, not every parent is able to see that as well, I think. You know, I talk about the yogic perspective of ignorance. And again, by ignorant, I don't mean not intelligent, just not knowing. So when you see the way kids behave and you wonder why didn't their parents teach them any better, is because of that veil of ignorance that parents themselves didn't know any better. And so it goes on. That cycle just continues, unfortunately and sadly. Destiny says, Anonymous, we blame our shortcomings and everything bad that goes on in the world. We got to take responsibility for our lack of giving back. I agree with that. What God put in us to give and make the world a better place. That is certainly so, Destiny. And I always point out how much I love that word responsibility. When you break it down, our ability to respond. We all have the ability to respond, but instead, we give our power to our reactionary impulse. We simply react. Instead of, you know, it is what it is, talked about how everything was silent in 220. A response comes from silence. It comes from the loving kindness nature of the heart. It comes from that pause. Reactions just happen. Reactions are great when a saber-toothed tiger jumps in front of you, when you're being chased by a woolly mammoth, when someone dangerous confronts you. Reactions will save your life. But if somebody cuts you off in traffic, do you need to, you know, not in a dangerous way, but just being a jerk? Do you need to react or you need to respond? If someone bumps into you in a bar, do you need to react or do you need to respond? If you find yourself in a long line, do you get reactive towards people or do you get responsive? Able to offer kindness. Having people be affected by your patience, your being centered. Jesse says, blessings and love to my dear friend Lewis. How are you today? Our friend Reaper is here. Reaper, how you doing? You had a bad day yesterday, he said. And he says, "Can I have dinner at your in your house?" When you say dinner in my house, you saying come on over and have dinner, or just have dinner in my house? Like, do I have to be there? Not that I mind being there. I just want to clarify. And if we're having dinner, you got to realize that I'm a vegan. I'm not a preachy, get on your nerves vegan. I might get on your nerves in other ways, but I'm not a get on your nerve where I insist you have to be a vegan. You don't even have to eat vegan food here, but all I have is vegan food. So you'd have to bring over uh, something for yourself. Bucket of chicken, roast beef sandwich. I don't I don't judge people for how they um, for the diet that they have. Everyone, you know, they eat from where they are. They make those choices, and I'm respectful for all of it. Lewis says, Sister Destiny, doing great, living great. How are you doing? Squirrel Sniper said, but we climbed trees, played in mud. Man, I certainly did. Learned to fish, got close to nature. Now all that can be done through a visual headset, and we were the norm in the next generation. That's interesting, Squirrel Sniper. Do you think that it's going to become the norm because that's all we're going to have? We're not going to have nature as we know it anymore. I read just the other day of the amount of species that are going extinct each day. We're literally living in the age of, what is it, the sixth extinction. What's going to be left? That's what I worry about. I have lots of friends who aren't concerned about climate change. I have some friends who say, well, it's not happening. And if it is happening, it's supposed to happen. It's not man-made. It doesn't matter to me, any of those beliefs. But what matters is when you ask, what kind of world do you want your kids to be living in? Make your decisions, make your choices there. Water's getting more and more polluted. Do you want your kids drinking polluted water? If you don't, as Destiny said, responsibility. It's our responsibility to fix it. Every one of us. I have a stepdaughter, fully grown. She's 30, and I do worry the world that she's going to have. Destiny is saying hello to Reaper, asking how he's doing. It is what it is, says Squirrel. Facts. Yes. Squirrel Sniper definitely brings the facts too. And Destiny says she is doing amazingly awesome, which is great to hear. Anonymous says, Squirrel, that is very true, my friend. I had a great childhood connected to nature. I lived in a area. It was a new city. It was built in it was built through the 60s and then made official 1967. We moved here just about when it opened. I was just a kid. And it was surrounded by, it was a little planned city, not big at all, but it was surrounded by countryside and you could wander all over the place. And then my family came from the mountains of Pennsylvania. So we spent a lot of time back up in the mountains visiting family. I lived there for some time when I was 15 years old. I wanted to get away, sort of return to my roots and be up in the mountains. Our friend Horror of Spice is here. Hey, everyone. Horror of Spice, how is the book publishing coming along? And how is the walking? Yesterday was recovery day. So have you gotten a chance to get out yet? Or is that coming up? definitely feel like I got the best people showing up here to chat with me. Just so many different insights, so many different ways of seeing the world, and yet no one is shouting down anyone else that um, my view's correct and yours isn't. Just a different way of seeing the world, and we're all sharing space, sharing the same space, that same space of allowing this to allow other people to have that perception. And at the same time, unafraid to offer a suggestion that by perceiving the world this way, this is what I have received as a gift. And maybe it'll work for you. And maybe your way will work for me. Destiny says, you're so right, Squirrel Sniper. A world and nature stands lonely for the big touch of love from all of us. And this is coming from Destiny, who is unafraid to show her love of trees. Destiny is a great teacher. Follow Destiny's channel to know how to live a life of joy and connecting to nature no matter where you are. We got to go back to the old landmark and do what our ancestors did to create nature's life. I agree. A wonderful example, Odom. You see someone who truly, truly loves the land, loves the earth, loves growing things and watching things grow, helping things to grow. And you can't help but think, that's so we should get our food. Food shouldn't be a business. It should be a commodity. You know, when we start talking about food being a product, when we start talking about animals being a product, what happened to animal husbandry when we cared for the animals because they were eventually giving their life so that we could sustain our lives? So it was honored, respectful. And now we treat them as products, as not even living objects any longer. And then we do the same thing with plants. We pump them up with all kinds of chemicals, all kinds of pesticides and herbicides, and genetically modifying. In some tomatoes, they're actually putting salmon genes in the tomato to make it red, deeper, and last longer. I'm not against eating salmon if you like eating salmon, but I don't want it in my tomato. I want my tomato to be a tomato. Destiny is saying hello to Whore of Spice and blessings to him. And Whore of Spice is coming up. Book is slow, but coming along. Yeah, it's a process. You're literally creating something from nothing. You're manifesting it. You're manifesting a book from your imagination. I honestly can't think of a better thing to do in life than that. That single act of creative energy that you're doing. So yeah, it takes the time that it takes. Anonymous says there are little girls and teens using skincare and other stuff, and little boys and teens just getting more rude. And I just really don't know how to explain this. But if you have seen the internet, yeah, everyone's in a rush. You can't be 11 years old anymore. You have to be a preteen. You can't be a teenager anymore. You have to be a young adult. You can't be a young adult anymore. You have to be facing adulthood and all the stuff that comes with it. It's the rush away from the present moment without realizing that the present moment is absolutely all we are ever given and assured of. Where Spice is saying hey to Destiny, and Anonymous says, I'm sure you know it. Yeah, I think we all know it. And sorry I ran out of words. You got your point across very well, Anonymous. Anonymous says a sub, by the way. Hey, I really appreciate that very much. And you know what? Hey, I'm going to beat Destiny to the punch for the first time ever. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I'd really appreciate it. That might be the first time I remember to say that. And I owe it to Destiny, who always serves as a reminder and an inspiration for what is possible on a YouTube channel. Channel is what it is because of our friend Destiny, because of our friend the J. Jordan, the Reverend Terminator. I have full support and love from my friend It Is What It Is, and Brian, and all the other people, and great new friends coming in. Squirrel Sniper, Whore of Spice, Anonymous, all you guys. Hey, I don't want to leave out Reaper. I appreciate Reaper. And you know what? I wish he could come on over and have dinner in my house. My good friend, Elise, is here. Elise, you need to get to know these people. You are going to fall in love with the crowd that we have. Amish as well. I do not want to leave him out. Elise has been my family for 20 years. She was, she looked into my mom, she looked into my father. Whenever I traveled and I knew that she was near, I knew that my parents were going to be cared for. As well, when Milka was stationed in Iraq for a year and I was taking care of my stepdaughter, I knew that my stepdaughter had the perfect female presence in her life with Elise. I cannot praise or speak or offer enough kind words for how she, who she is, how she is, and what she's been in my life. Smitty Deuces 187 is here. Hello, Yogi and everyone. While we are on the subject of great people and new friends, Smitty Deuces 187 is, we were talking, Anonymous and I, all of us really, the negative effects of the internet. And along comes Smitty Deuces 187, who is a shining light on the internet. It's a shining light on YouTube. It's a force of good. Seriously. Go to his channel and just hang out. Make sure you like and subscribe to him as well, but just hang out. That's so important. It's when you don't have to do anything except be yourself. And by the simple act of being yourself, you're shining a light in the world. You're on the right track. You're doing something right. And I feel that way. Everyone here, man, you deserve every little bit of success in the world to come your way, because you're putting so much out. You're putting so much beauty out. I can't wait to read Whore of Spice's book and to know that he's a friend of mine, that he's someone who came here and shared time with me. And I get to see how it takes shape from this point on. Destiny says, that's the answer, Eric, to why the world is failing. Everyone is in a big rush. Yes. And we refuse to give up the microwave society. And even to give up, we refuse to pause, to take a break from it. We don't have a Sabbath anymore. And I don't mean that in a strictly Christian sense, as I mean a day of peace, where we can even have a moment of Sabbath. Sometimes I wonder, like on Martin Luther King Day, did we do Dr. King a disservice by giving him a Monday holiday Because how many people truly honor Dr. King on that day? They go out and they buy a mattress or a new car or a computer or all the endless sales. And it's another day of buying and selling and rushing. Instead, let's have an hour of silence. We're going to click off the big switch of the internet. We're going to have the TVs turned off, or we're going to have music playing. We're going to have gospel music playing. We're going to hear Dr. King speak. Same with all the other holidays. If you have a President's Day, give a President's Hour and have the great presidents, the ones who really made a difference, and listen to them talk. Have a Sabbath. Have a time out. Go back to nature. Go outside and put your feet in the grass day. Go outside and wander in a creek. For destiny, go outside and hug a tree day. That would be beautiful, and that would be meaningful, and it would be healing. We've made the world a mess, but you know what? We can also heal the world, and we can do it right now. It doesn't take big plans. Go outside and honor a tree, and we start to heal the world right now. Give someone a smile, hold the door for someone, give a kind word on YouTube, find a channel that inspires you, spend some time there, like and subscribe. I'm really hoping that my friend Elise, a little hint here, starts her channel soon and offers her inspiration. Whatever it is she chooses to be, it's going to be from the heart. Elise says, yes, 20 years, my bestie. Smitty's saying hello to Elise. Destiny says, you did beat me to the punch, Eric. But here's is, everyone, please don't forget to smash the like button and share out the hot, super amazing channel. Thank you so much, the host, super amazing channel. It's actually more meaningful when you say it, Destiny. So thank you. It's nice when I remember, but it's more meaningful when you put it out there. It just is. It's such an act of friendship and kindness. Everyone's saying hello to Smitty. And while I'm on the subject again, definitely go out and like and subscribe to Smitty's channel. It was amazing to me to go. It was like hanging out with my friends again. You know what I mean? When life was a little simpler, and we would just hang out in a friend's room and listen to albums, listen to music. With Smitty, I'm almost hesitant to say it's a gaming channel. It's a friend's channel. It's focused on gaming, but you just get the feeling, again, that you're hanging out with friends. Smitty says, thanks, bro, for saying that. It means a lot. Hey, it's spoken from the heart, my friend. Elise says, it's my honor to call you my family, Eric. I feel the same way about you. Peace and blessings to you all. Thank you. And obviously, that includes your 3 wonderful sons. Or Spice says, still here, just stretching. Good thing to stretch, especially if you're going to head out for your walk. Anonymous says, have you heard of RCTA? I have not, but please tell us about it, my friend. Elise says, hello, Destiny, peace and blessings to you. Hey, Elise, definitely check out Destiny's channel. She is a treadmill dancer, among other things. She's a healer. She is a fitness and nutrition expert, offering inspiration and motivation across the board. But to see her dance to the treadmill is to witness true joy. Somebody who's just loving what they're doing. You don't see that everywhere. You certainly don't see that everywhere on as anonymous, and I think our friend Sniper might say, on the internet, particularly YouTube. Although I got to tell you something, of all the places in social media, YouTube has impressed me with its overall kindness. Every once in a while, someone shows up. They're supposed to show up. You put that light out there, and there's going to be a shadow. Or if Space says to honor Dr. King, hug a stranger. Definitely. And take a day of practicing nonviolence. Anonymous says, question, what time is it right now for you? It is, well, according to my desktop computer, which is about 5 minutes fast, 1:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Squirrel Sniper says, even if you just copy the link, it activates the algorithm. Hey, I didn't know that. Destiny says, absolutely, you got the power within to heal all things. Let's heal our world. Find an act of kindness to offer with good intentions and get back to Mother Gia. Yes. And you know what? This isn't just a conversation. It is just a conversation, and it's a great conversation, but it's also a healing conversation. We're talking about how we all fit in and what we can all do, our little bit, and the little bit of healing that we can offer the world. You know, I think about the direction where my channel might head, and it's obviously not moved. Smitty's taken off. Bye, brother. Take care, Smitty. Smitty says, love everything you do for me and my channel. That's what it's all about, my friend. And you know what? I get more of a rush just putting out good words for somebody's channel than I do in anything that I do for my own channel. And I certainly do want my channel to grow. And thinking about that direction of where I want it to go, you know, it's obviously moved past the just recording my burpees. That's always going to be a big part, unless for whatever reason I do something other than burpees, but the fitness aspect is always going to be big. But the nature shorts and the live, I think. So I've had people approach me. I bet everyone has. You know, you get an email from someone saying, I can monetize your channel in 10 days. And when I think about that, I think, but I don't know what to share. These are just random live conversations with my friends, and we're doing our best to create a little haven of positivity. And by positivity, I don't mean that we're obviously talking about some things that aren't positive. That's life. None of us here shy away from talking about the bad. But what we're looking for is, what can we do about it? What can we offer the world to make it a better place? How can we serve? How can we serve, I think, would be my channel motto, my mantra. How can I serve? How can we serve? How can we serve each other? Anonymous says that it's 12:21 a.m. for me. Wow. Are you up early or going to bed late? Destiny says, have a great day, Smitty, and enjoy. Squirrel Sniper says it is 17:52 here. Yep, you're in Great Britain. I have some good friends Our friend Duncan Walsh uh, has a great channel. He's in Britain. Our friend Hybrid Jim, another great channel. He's in Britain as well. And a few others, actually. A lot of hard trainers coming out of Britain sharing this story. So, yeah, so when someone says, we can help grow your channel, I just got to wonder. Now, I have had help, but I just don't know what's the focus, going live. Going live and doing the nature shorts seems to be the big focus for me. I absolutely love doing the nature shorts because it's become a haiku, sort of, capturing nature in a 30-second clip. My own unique expression, my own unique perspective, and sharing it. And then coming here, I am being able to entertain the thoughts of every single person that comes in. Anonymous says that he is up late. At least says my son lives in Southampton, England. Ah, yes, I forgot. Your oldest. I've often thought that I would enjoy living so many places in Great Britain. Wales has always seemed to be this sort of wild coastal area that I would love to visit. And then, of course, my ancestral lands of Scotland and Ireland. So, it is getting close to 2 o'clock, which means I go in and do my second and last meditation for the day, and I soon start my very last meal for the day. Usually done eating by around 3-ish for the day, and then it'll be just a fast until somewhere in the morning. Not a super long fast anymore. I used to do the 18 to 20 hours, sometimes more, but I still shoot for somewhere between 14 and 16. And I try to do that by ending earlier in the day than extending it longer in the morning. Seems to work best for me health-wise. I think we all got to find that way of staying in sync. Destiny, I'd be interested in hearing your views on fasting. You and I are mostly in sync. I think 100% in sync, diet-wise. What we eat, how we eat, and why we eat. But I'm not sure if I've heard you speak too much on fasting. Definitely interested in your views. There's a lot of spiritual benefits to fasting. As well, it changes our relationship to food. Destiny said, be careful of how they want to grow your channel and be careful of their intention. What would you have to give for the YouTube is not for the unfairness of doing things to get a gain for self only. I agree. And that's why, as I started the conversation off with the thinking of the Hawaiian art of wishing well, that you have to take in consideration of how that wish is going to be expressed, because there's that dark side of wishing. If you wish for that large audience before you get there, before you're ready, before you've sort of had that trial by fire, you can be can feel overwhelmed. There'll be a rush of negativity, people wishing to bring you down. I was going to read the Mother Teresa prayer again, but maybe I will later tonight. And take it from there. I've been building up. What's left for me is the watch hours, and I have great friends helping me with that, as well as you know, just being here with you guys and talking. So we'll see how it goes. But I 100% agree with Destiny, as I always do. You gotta be careful of how you lend your energy, who you lend your energy to. Destiny says, I hear you, Eric. I did a fasting video a month or so ago. There's a wholeness and definitely healing in fasting when it's done properly. Just my opinion. I'm gonna go check out. I'll watch your video as I'm breaking my fast. And as Destiny says, when it's done properly, which means it's not just not eating. You got to take a little bit more into account. And think about all the great spiritual masters who practiced fasting, particularly Gandhi, who not only fasted for spiritual reasons, he fasted as a way of protest. It is what it is. Says fasting was so hard for me when I started, and you do like a 20-hour fast, don't you, Lewis? But it's very possible. Destiny always has good information she puts out, that's for sure. Particularly about diets and about, oh, you know what, another thing, I know you talked about minerals the other day. Be interesting to talk supplements sometime. Lewis says, that's a start. Yes, I eat after 7 p.m. Now after 2 p.m. I don't eat breakfast. Anonymous says, like if they want to become Korean from Canadian, they're just going to be it. And if you ask them what made them want to be Korean, they'll say the culture. And then they know nothing more than K-pop. Interesting. It's the second time today K-pop came up in a conversation. You would think in my circle K-pop would never come up. So twice in a day. Well, Destiny says the longest I fasted was 4.5 months, only on liquids, Eric. That's amazing. It says, well, you are seriously an inspiration, sister. Destiny, yeah, she is. Anonymous says, sorry, if you want to understand that, you would need to read my last one. Did I miss something? I do my best. The last one I see is when you answered my question about if you were up late. Sunshine Butter with Stitch. Hi, it's me again. How are you, my friend? My friend from Iceland. For those who might not have been here when Sunshine was here previously, she is from Iceland. She is a very friendly and loving presence every time she visits. She's a good representative of her country, and she told me last time that it's a very kind and polite society, which is really good to know. Just making sure I'm caught up with everyone. Oh, Now this is, oh, did he not get the chat? It's basically just answering the RCTA one. Thank you. Okay. I'm unfamiliar with that. Jeremy and Cheryl's cruise adventure says, hey everyone. Hello, my friend. How are you? Sunshine says, well, what are you doing this time? We are solving the world's problems. Actually, quite literally. At least from our perspective. A large amount of suffering would be erased, eliminated. Simply being kind to one another. Moment to moment to moment. Years and years ago, Dr. Wayne Dyer offered his assessment that given a choice, and we always have a choice, it's better to choose to be kind than it is to be right. Doesn't mean that you're not right, or it doesn't mean that you can't believe that you're right. But what it means is, if it comes down to making someone else wrong at the sake of being kind, choose being kind. That has served me pretty well, and I do my best to remember it. Because when you talk about a lot of the stuff that we talk about, when you talk about meditation, when you talk about yoga, someone is always going to pop up who has their own means and methods of meditation, of practicing yoga, and they're going to say, this is the way to do it, not your way. And that's absolutely fine. And they're absolutely right. For them, that is the way to do it, not my way. My way is perfect for me. And I don't try to teach anyone here anything. I just share. I offer. I'm not attached to my beliefs. I'm not attached to my opinions. I'm ready to drop them in an instant if it makes sense to do so. If it comes down to cherishing my opinion over cherishing a person, I'm going to choose the person every single time. Those opinions and those beliefs to always resurface in another way, through another means. So I don't need to be attached to them. Jeremy and Cheryl's Cruise Adventures says we're good. You guys have great live sessions, by the way. Oh, RCTA stands for race change to another. That makes sense. And as you can tell from the name, it's exactly what it sounds like. Interesting. Destiny says, Lewis, I learned better ways of living after making choices and mistakes in my life. Me too. Those mistakes turned into valuable lessons that gave me the knowledge and wisdom to live a healthy and wholesome lifestyle. And you share it so wonderfully, Destiny. It makes me think of in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. They talk about there's really no such thing as mistake. There's just results. It's what you do with those results that matter. That's where you proceed from. It's only a mistake if you say stuck and you keep repeating it over and over again. If you get a response, what are you going to do with that response? It really shows how just a simple shift in our perception can make all the difference in the world. Literally make all the difference in the world. Sunshine said, I always think about the words, be kind to others, help others, and let them know you love them. Excellent words and excellent advice. And you know what? It's the simplicity of that advice that is so meaningful, because you can remember it, you can carry it with you, and you can act upon it. That's the thing with philosophies. We get so bogged down in the philosophy that we lose sight. That's why I always return to the Beatitudes, Sermon on the Mount, succinct teachings. You don't need all the other Gospels. You need those simple directions that Jesus said, this is how you live. Most specifically, when he tells you the kingdom of heaven is within. If the kingdom of heaven is within, why are we looking to politicians? Why are we looking to clergy? Why are we looking for other people to tell us how to get there? Look in your heart. My favorite, St. Catherine of Siena, when she says, all the way to heaven is heaven. Anonymous says, I really have to sleep late. My battery is 23 and lights are on. So yeah, I'll be going in a few minutes. Man, I really appreciate you stopping by, Anonymous. And I hope you keep doing so. By the way, I will be back this evening, a little bit after 5. I usually read from my blog. Last night, man, we talked for an hour before we even got around to reading my blog. So I'll see if I can do it quicker this time. Destiny is saying hi to Sunshine, and Sunshine is saying hi back. So, all right, guys, with that, I probably should go as well. I need to get my meditation in and my last meal. I appreciate everyone being here, every single one of you. Destiny says, thanks, Eric, and everyone for the helpful insights and words of wisdom. Excuse me. I am out, and I will catch you later. Much love. It's a definite sign that I've been talking too long. I should probably quit while I'm ahead. So, again, thank you, everyone. Much appreciated. Sunshine says, goodbye, my lovely friends. Goodbye to you as well. I hope you join us again soon. Each and every one of you. Very important. Anonymous says, goodbye, mate. Have a good evening. You too, my friend. Destiny says, never, Eric. I appreciate that, Destiny. And I will see you guys later. Take care. And again, if you want to stop by later, come on by. Much appreciated. Take care.